Today we have a 1948 Ford, and this old girl hasn't ran in about 45 years. She used to be an ice truck at one point. The bed is a 42 model bed. It's a GMC built bed, but it used to be a federal security service and U.S. public health service truck at one point. I'm not sure exactly what they did. I Googled it. It has to do with food and stuff like that, so maybe they delivered some type of food or something like that in it, since it was an ice truck at one point. But underneath the hood, she does have a good old locked up inline flat six. She did come, they do that every time. She did come from Colorado at one point, so it's a pretty solid old truck. She's been down here in Arkansas for about 50 years. The breather's missing. Somebody had hooked up a fuel line through a rubber line and a filter here, but motor's locked up. It doesn't look like the spark plugs are rusted off in there. A rat at one point did build a nest up here, but he looks like he's been long gone. Battery terminals are there. I'm not exactly sure what this was, but it's still got a fuse in it. Maybe, well, I don't know what that is. Somebody let me know what that thing is. Round to the interior, somebody put some carpet in it. There's no seat in this truck. And the floors underneath this carpet, surprisingly, are perfectly solid. There's some surface rust, but we're gonna get this carpet out of here and clean it out so it don't rust holes in the floor. She's showing 49,000 miles on her, and that's pretty neat. I have never seen this. It shows low gear no more than 5 miles an hour, second gear 10 miles an hour, third gear from about 12 miles an hour to almost 30. I have never seen that on a speedometer. She got the blinkers. Everything in here is complete except for the seat. Now, this is the real neat part on it. I'll show you guys this tag because maybe somebody knows more about it than I do. But it says all that, and it says 42 GMC up here, and somewhere it says 1942 right here. So I assume the bed was built in 42. But I have never seen one of these trucks, and I've owned a lot of old cars and a lot of old trucks. But it used to be an ice truck, and everything in here is complete. Well, as complete as it can be without ice blocks being in here. Floor's solid. Smells terrible in here because it was being used for storage, and the rats really loved this place. Over here, I assume this is where they slid the ice in here to put it in the truck. And that is a rubber mat, so maybe they stacked it there and that kept it off of the wall. Something used to be there. There's a vent here. At some point, somebody put wires and stuff in it. Got a light switch here that won't stay in the light position. There's a bunch of these little doors here, like air hole doors, but they don't open. This side's completely covered up. And there's some up here, but they're covered up. So I'm not really sure. Maybe it was a van body converted into a ice truck body, but I really think it was a ice truck to begin with. There's an old back glass, an auto light service parts box, a picture of somebody, and a bunch of other tore up boxes. Looks like that was some lights for a car. And just a whole bunch of pieces and parts and stuff. Back here we have a notepad, but there's nothing wrote on the notepad. I was hoping maybe that's where they wrote down their ice deliveries. They wrote something up here at one point. And over here, I think this is where your receipt slips or something would go. I'm not really sure. Hopefully somebody knows more about it than I do. It does kind of have that Jeepers Creepers truck look with that box on the bed of it. Kind of looks creepy, but the front drum on the passenger side still locked up, and I think this side is, but we're gonna go ahead, clean that engine up, pull them plugs, and well, we'll have this old girl running hopefully here pretty soon. spray it down real good, and we'll let her set overnight. This rear one back here, if you can see, it probably will end up breaking off in the head, but if we have to, we'll pull the head and get it out of there. Well, we'll give her tonight to set, and tomorrow we'll get them plugs out of there, get some stuff down there. We should have her loose in a day or two. This truck set overnight, and hopefully these plugs won't break off in there. Ooh. There we go. Woo. Sometimes. Boy, whoever put these on there meant business. Maybe not. Man alive. Whew. Well, that can's about 99% out. We've got them all filled up, or at least some in them. We're gonna let her set for a while, and hopefully in the next few days or so, she'll come loose. We'll probably do like we did with the old 50 model Ford with the V8 in it. We hooked a chain and some come-alongs to the Mack truck back there and left it tension on it and in reverse. So hopefully we'll do that with this, and then maybe it'll pop loose just as easy. Well, you can tell they haven't been in there for 50 years or more. It's been sitting for about 45 years, so been there for at least 45 years. That one's got some rust on the bottom of it too, and it's fairly warm. So it seems they're on there a little bit better than I thought they would be. This one here, we should be able to just get out of it real easy. We already loosened it. And they are covered in quite a bit of rust. I'm gonna say that's why she's locked up in a lot of carbon. Girl set for about 2 or so days, and we can get just the littlest bit of movement out of it. So just a little bit of a wiggle we can get out of it. We left a chain and some come-alongs on the back of it, and there was a little bit of slack in them, so it broke free from where it was set. And we're going to go ahead, throw some battery cables on it, and see if we can bump it with that starter. And she's got hardly any oil in her. She's past the danger mark here, so that's not a good thing. We'll get her broke loose, where to whirl over, and we're going to change the oil and all that in it here in a minute. Ooh, there we go. Woo! Well, she spins. Sounds a little rough, but she spins. So, she don't seem to have much compression though. That may be a she got compression. That one has none, 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 none. Well, I bet you we're going to have to pull the head off this old girl. She seems to have a few stuck valves because we got compression in one cylinder out of 6. So she ain't going to run off that. We got all them head bolts out of there. A few of them broke off and we can't get the head loose, but we'll take a good old piece of string here and jam it down in a cylinder and use the piston to push the head off of here in theory. If it'll work. It should. There we go. This is how you can get the heads off of flatheads when they're running. If they're not running and locked up, it's a pain in the butt, but just jam this string down in there. And it takes a while. Stuffed another cylinder full of string, so maybe we can work her loose. I got some more implements of destruction here to try to get her loose. Looks like a little bit of rust here and there and a lot of stuck valves, but it's not terrible. We're going to shop back all that rust out of there. The cylinders look immaculate for it being locked up. I mean, it's pretty clean. That piece of string stuck underneath the valve, but we'll get all this shop backed up and get them valves loose, get that bolt that we bent over, break it off the rest of the way, and put the head back on here. Okay. Uh-oh. I ain't liking that. Might have to break the starter back out. One of these is still, she's holding on pretty good. We'll roll her backwards. I was hoping we would run into this issue, but I figured we would. Just have to use it. There we go. Ah, man. Got another one hanging up on us. That's why they were breaking off. Their metal quality ain't that great. Which one of them ain't coming back up? I'm gonna say it's that back. And that very back one really ain't one to move. The valves now valvulate and do what they're supposed to do, but that number 6 cylinder exhaust valve broke off just a second ago. We actually got it moving up and down. It stuck one more time. I tapped it with the hammer and it broke right off. It was rusted down there around the stem, so that kind of sucks. We will eventually put a new one in it. We don't have one right now, but we're going to throw the head back on this thing, get it running. It'll run on 5 cylinders, but it kind of sucks that that valve broke off. I guess it is what it is, though. At least all the other ones work, and they seem to work fairly well. But that one back there had a lot of rust on it. And I guess working it up and down with a hammer for the past few hours did not do it any favors. Today it looks like our oil of choice is Valvoline. I'm not sure what well, I guess that ain't on there. Not sure what flavor she is other than Valvoline because the label's off of her. I think this was some discount bin. She smells about like 5W30, maybe 10W30. Whichever way she'll work. Oh man, we're already making a mess. Probably ought to use a funnel. Nope, we got her. Yeah, I guess we got every bit of oil out of her because she sounds bone dry down in there. Let's see where we're at now. Looks like she's right on the full line at 4.5 quarts. So there must have been about a half quart left in there somewhere. Time to get a look at them points. We ain't made it this far yet. We got her loose and got her whirling and got the valves working, so, well, she don't look too bad down in there. Everything seems to be how it should be. We can get the cap to stay out of our way. Well, you can tell the points are a little corroded, but nothing terrible. That right there is what keeps them from getting sparked. That little bit of white corrosion you can see on there, that ends up being a problem 10 times out of 9 on why they won't get sparked. They do sell a points file for this, but I never can keep up with one, so we just use the old sandpaper trick, and it works 9 times out of 10. And the points file sometimes don't fit down in here real good. We got the points all cleaned off. We sprayed her off with some starting fluid to get all the dust and stuff out of there, so she should be good to go here in a second. We'll let that dry out. We'll air out for a little bit because starting fluid's a little flammable, and sometimes the spark from the point sets it off and they blow the cap off of these things. I've done that a few times on them. Leak for a minute or two till them seals kind of rehydrate. Cross your fingers and she might run. Okay. I may have the sparkulator wires out of sorts. she sure seems like she ain't got a lick of compression.
So we got her running there, and we was a little rough on the throttle, and she is pretty warm, but we're gonna let her cool down. We didn't get her meltdown hot just yet. We'll let her cool down for an hour or so. She ain't too warm. That ain't even real hot. And hopefully that'll give them rings a chance to pop back. We were real rough on the throttle on this and to blow all the crap that we put down in there out of her. And she seemed to start clearing up and running halfway decent towards the end. That popping noise is not a knock. It is that one lifter. It's number 6, I believe. And it's catching with the spring then popping back down. So that's what the knocking noise is. But we got her running. We'll let her cool down and we'll see if we can get this old girl driving somewhere. Change the battery, so hopefully. Well, we have a, there we go. Come on. Maybe we need to choke on. There we go.
Girl running, she won't really drive. I think that engine just doesn't have enough power anymore. We've put 3 different carburetors on it. We rebuilt the one that was on it. This one here, we've had it on 2 different vehicles that ran and drove, so we know this one's good. It just doesn't seem to have enough power left in it, and once it warms up any, or you rev it up any, basically it loses its compression and loses all of its power. Like, as you see, we could get it to move just a little bit, but as soon as we let out on the clutch real good and went into it, it just dies out. There is a crack in the block on the driver's side about that long, so that is a problem. Probably needs a new motor put down in her. We may revisit this thing. It'd probably be best to put a 4BT Cummins or something in this old girl. It's just a neat truck. Never seen another one like it, but we got her running. We couldn't get her driving, but thank you guys for watching, and well, I'll see you in the next video. That should be next week's video, a 1954 GMC. She's been sitting for about 30 years, so we'll have her running hopefully next week for a video. And we're still waiting on parts for the old Mack truck back there, and you guys will see it probably in 2 or 3 weeks. Thank you guys for watching. And please consider maybe leaving a like and subscribing, because we've got a lot more cool videos coming. Also, probably 3 or 4 weeks on the blue AAR, because we're waiting on parts, paid a guide, and the parts never showed up.